fellas. It's Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. This is the Betting Memo. My name is Nick Parsons, and this is a show that gets you caught up with everything that's going on over at Sports Memo. That includes who's really hot on the leaderboards. There's a rapid fire free picks section most shows, but there won't be today because it's just so slow right now. We also have a featured capper with a featured free pick. And then we also have my Parsons best bet, which is an actual client pick, which I post over at Sports Memo. I lost last night's client pick, dropping us to 8-3 with our last 11 show picks. We're going to try to bounce back tonight. But guys, before I get to any of those things, I have to tell you about Tuesday's featured package. All right, guys, Tuesday's featured package. It comes from Sniper West. And the Sniper, he came on board a couple of months ago, and he's quickly established himself as one of the top UFC cappers on the site. But he's also hitting 67% with his WNBA picks over the last 7 days. And for Tuesday, the Sniper has a 3-game report going. And so that's why this is Sports Memo's featured package here today. He has 1 MLB All-Star game pick and 2 WNBA. Guys, Sniper West and his 3-game report are Sports Memo's featured package for Tuesday, July 15th. The Gold Sheet will be back next week with more free prop wagers. But as far as my Parsons best bet, last night I had a play on the under 162 in the Lynx in the Sky. And so that was a loser. It finished on 169. They had a big first quarter. And while we had a chance in the second half there, we're going to have to turn the page and get back on track at it here on Wednesday. So I'm now 8-3 with my last 11 show plays. I'm 15-4 overall with my WNBA totals this year. And so for Tuesday, guys, we're staying on the WNBA hardwood. The game I'm looking at, it sees Washington in LA. This is the second to last day before the break. And instead of a total today, I'm looking at a side. So this is the front end of a home and home set where the back end will be played a week later in the nation's capital. Normally, I like betting against super hot teams. And so I know a lot of people like riding hot streaks, but I'm of the opposite, though, in wanting to predict when that overvalued team on an extended run will finally lose and or win. It works both ways. If a team is on an extended losing streak, I also will always be looking for the value when it'll break out of that slump. But that won't be for this selection, as after winning 3 in a row, I think the 11-10 Mystics, they can keep that momentum rolling here for at least one more game. And then they play LA again at home next week after the All-Star break. The Sparks, they enter 7-14, and they've been trading wins and losses over their last 4 games. Off a tighter than expected 92-88 win over Connecticut at home as a 10.5-point favorite, I think the injury-plagued Sparks will have difficulty keeping pace with the suddenly surging Mystics. The Washington defense, it's been particularly sharp of late, and there's no reason not to think the Mystics won't be able to carry that momentum over here, as they've held back-to-back tough offensive opponents to 70 points or less. Not only are the Sparks missing a few key players, but they also rank 12th in the league in defensive rating. I admittedly lost against the Mystics in their last game against Seattle, as I had the Storm minus 6.5. Now, I don't usually flip-flop on teams from one game to the next, and that's not the case here. Each game, of course, has to be looked at as its own entity. And for me, I just love the way this one sets up for Washington. I'm also looking ahead here as well. If the Mystics do stumble in this spot, I will almost assuredly take them at home in this matchup next week as well in the revenge spot. But gentlemen, I don't see that happening here. I think that the Mystics will get the job done here tonight on Tuesday. Instead of laying the points, though, my official Parsons best bet for Tuesday is just to take Washington on the reasonable money line option. Before we get into the leaderboards, I have to get to a little bit of business. I have to tell you about the specials going on over at Sports Memo right now, and definitely the most popular is called Flex Picks, and here is how that works. So Flex Picks, it gives you the ultimate flexibility to access the daily picks you want from the experts that you trust. And so what you do is you choose your handicapper each day. You can keep the same one, or you can choose a different one each day. You get full access for the day. You can plan ahead or go day by day, and you can change your mind at any time. You can change your selected capper right up until the games go off. Skip days at your convenience. So if you have a 30-day flex pass, you don't need to use it 30 days in a row. It's definitely the most flexible and affordable way to stay ahead with expert betting advice over at Sports Memo, guys. And then on Wednesdays, we have $5 Wednesdays. Every capper releases one $5 package. Most have 4% and 5% picks going on those 5% specials. So guys, head on over to Sports Memo on Wednesdays for $5 Wednesdays. And then also on Fridays, we have 50% off Fridays, very similar to $5 Wednesdays in that every capper releases one 50% off pick. It's another great opportunity to take advantage and save at the same time. So Tuesday's featured capper, who will have our featured free play. They're red hot in the WNBA right now. Let's just get right into it. And so Tim Michael is Sports Memo's featured capper for Tuesday, as Tim is 9-3 with all of his picks over the last 7 days, and he's 6-1 with his last 7 WNBA after hitting the Mercury in Golden State last night. And so guys, go check out Tim Michael. He's Tuesday's featured capper at Sports Memo. And while you're there, make sure to check out his Tuesday WNBA best bet that tests his 86% WNBA run. And so our featured free play does come from Tim Michael. And so Tim likes the under 165 in the Mystics and the Sparks tonight. And he goes on to say that this is the final game before the break for each side. When they return, they'll play a rematch in the nation's capital on the 22nd. Not having Cameron Brink in the lineup is a concern for LA, obviously. LA is just 2-8 at home, but Washington is now firmly in the playoff picture after its 3-0 surge. And Tim finishes by saying, Washington owns a top 5 defense, and I look for it to dictate the tempo in this one. So guys, it's a rare instance where our featured free play and my Parsons best bet come on the same game, but we're down. We have very few options here. I like the Mystics on the money line in LA, and Tim Michael's featured free play, he likes the under 165 in the same contest. Before I touch on the leaderboards, I'll just have to ask you to smash the like button, leave some comments whether you agree or disagree. Those definitely help out with the algorithm. Also, hit the bell icon every time we go live. You guys will get notified and can take advantage of the information we're putting out there for you. Guys, all of these things, super simple to do. They really do help us out, and they allow us to continue to put out this content for you guys. Guys, Sports Memo, it's totally different than it was a year ago. It definitely is different than it was 2 years ago. I've never seen it this competitive on the leaderboards this late in the summer. Let's quickly get caught up on the leaderboards right now. Pro Sports Picks is 12-1 with all picks over the last 7 days, but I still hold down the #1 spot over the last 30 days in all sports with a 40-22 record. Major League Baseball, we've hit the All-Star break, guys. When it returns, though, it's going to be clients of Dan Kaiser that are going to be happy, as Dan leads at the ballpark over the last 30 days with a 61-35 record. Tim Michael leads on the WNBA hardwood over the last 7 days with the 6-1 record. But, you know, despite that loss last night, I'm still leading in the WNBA over the last 30 days with a 15-8 record. I'm looking forward to the CFL returning at the end of the week. We'll have 4 games this weekend. I'm 5-0 with my Canadian football over the last 2 weeks, and I'm 13-5 overall this season. But it's Rob Vincelletti that leads over the last 30 days in the CFL with a 10-3 record. And no change in the soccer leaderboard right now. Ray Monahan leading on the pitch over the last 30 days. Normally, I would wrap up the show with some rapid fire free picks, but there's just so little going on that there are not many free picks loaded over at Sports Memo right now. So the rapid fire free picks will be back next week, guys. But before you leave, make sure to smash the like button, hit the bell icon, leave some comments. Good luck with the WNBA tonight. See you tomorrow. Take care.